in this expanse of creation, what is it that we have to be proud about? Endless lifetimes have gone by, and yet we have not been able to overcome anger, greed, desire, hatred, envy, illusion. We still have the ignorance within us. What then is there to be proud about? Rabindranath Tagore, the famous Bengali poet, was working by the seaside in a little hut on a piece of poetry. Outside there was shimmering moonlight, but inside the hut all was dark except the light emanating from a little lamp. Slowly the lamp got extinguished, and then Tagore opened the door of the hut, and suddenly all was flooded with the moonlight. Like the moonlight is the grace of God that is available everywhere. However, like the little lamp is our ego, which prevents us from becoming recipients of that grace. That is why somebody said ego is an acronym for edging God out. If we wish to transform our lives, we need to extinguish this enemy sitting within ourselves. And what do we have to be proud of? We don't have the wealth of Kuber or the fame of Indra. One businessman went to Saint Kabir. He was boasting about the big mansion he had built. Saint Kabir put before him a map and said, "Where on this map is the city in which you live?" It was a little dot. "And where in the city is your locality?" It was a dot within the dot. "And where is the mansion?" It was a dot within the dot within the dot. In the same way, in this expanse of creation, what is it that we have to be proud about? Nevertheless, whenever we do something, this pride of being the doer engulfs us. And that is what dirties our mind and heart. If we wish to receive the spiritual gifts, we will have to strive to extinguish this pride. One scholar went to a God-realized saint. He said, "O sage, I have read so much, I have heard so much, but I am still devoid of a genuine spiritual experience. I have not even seen the light of God. Please tell me a spiritual practice which will give me my first true divine realization." The sage smiled and said, "Go out, lift your arms towards the heavens and cry out to God. You will have your first experience." The scholar obediently followed. He went out. Unfortunately, it was raining. Nevertheless, he lifted his arms and cried out to God for 2 hours. When he returned, the saint asked him, "What happened?" The scholar said, "O sage, there were dark clouds in the sky. The rain was falling on my face. The hair was getting wet. My clothes were all soaked. My feet were in a puddle of water. I felt like I was a gross fool. The saint said, "You have had your first spiritual realization." The fact is that the doors to spiritual treasures open up to the extent that we learn to master this virtue of humbleness within ourselves. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Trunadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanena manadena kirtaniya sadahari." He said, consider yourself more insignificant than a blade of grass. Be more tolerant than a tree. Desire no prestige for yourself while giving all respect to others. In this state of humbleness, you will be able to always chant the glories of God. So how should we cultivate this virtue of humility? Factually, the closer we go to God, the more naturally humbleness manifests in us. It's just like if you are standing far away from a mountain, you may feel, this mountain is about as high as I am. But when you go close to it, you realize, where is this mountain and where am I? Similarly, it is in forgetfulness of the glory of God that we become proud of our tiny significance. Just like the firefly may be proud until the sun rises, but in the sunshine, what does the firefly have to be proud about? Further, we must also remember the shortcomings of our own personality. Endless lifetimes have gone by, and yet we have not been able to overcome anger, greed, desire, hatred, envy, illusion. We still have the ignorance within us. What then is there to be proud about? When we revise these pieces of knowledge, it will help us develop humbleness within. So the tool for today then is to strive to eliminate the pride within ourselves. Tomorrow, on the 14th day of this life transformation challenge, we shall move ahead from here.